Hey everybody, it's Leah with the Oldsteader's Homestead. I did a video earlier today. It was just a conversational video while I cooked an awesome supper for our anniversary today. Actually, our anniversary is Thursday, but I explained it in the video why I cooked it today. So at any rate, when I went to edit it, I realized that I had the camera on manual focus and the whole thing was really fuzzy. But I decided to go ahead and upload it and just give you a heads up to it, if you can, ignore the video. I'm not doing anything real special, just standing there working on some bread, talking. But the conversation I felt was worth putting up. So that's where we're at on this one. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hey everyone, it is Leah with the Oldsteader's Homestead. Didn't know if I'd remember to say that right or if I wanted to say Family Heritage Living. This week, Ron and I are, I got my specs on. Part of an Oldsteader. Started having trouble with my eyesight back when I was about 45, about 5 or 6 years ago. And since I've turned 50, it's gotten worse. I need readers all the time, so much so that I just find I'm walking around like using them like bifocals. Had an eye exam done right before we moved up here, and they said we were good for almost 10 more years before they worried about another eye exam due to my age. But I'm thinking maybe one needs to be done sooner. But at any rate, all part of growing older and growing older gracefully, right? So today I am making a special meal for my family. Ron's and my anniversary is Thursday, the 4th. And the reason we're doing it early is because actually I cooked a turkey yesterday, and we had gotten it a week ago, but because we don't have a freezer and it was frozen solid, it was a leftover organic turkey at our local co-op. It was good in the icebox or the cooler for several days, and it got to the point that I was worried if I kept it any longer, it would not be good. So I cooked it up yesterday, and it's been so beautifully cold in the 50s here, where the stove, you want the stove to go. But today, it's really hot, and I've already committed to doing our anniversary meal today. So I'm sweating and sweltering. This is when you wish that you had another cooking source outside. Now, a lot of people say cook over an open fire. And we do that. We've done that quite a bit. But we also live in the forest. And when it's windy, it's not wise to have an open fire out. And today is a windy day. Anyways, so eventually, I think I want to get one of those old-fashioned, I've seen them before. You see them on like at antique stores, and they make a replica, but it's not very nice. But it's just a burner. It's a propane burner, similar to the Coleman camp stove, which I do not like. But it would keep us from having to use this, which we used to do down south a lot. Use the propane burner in the summer just to warm up water and coffee, but you can't cook in it. So one of these days, somewhere down the road, when life is at its normal, or at a normal where we can do it, we will do a summer kitchen of sorts. But for now, I have to deal with the heat, like many people used to have to do. And I'm getting ready to make some sourdough bread, so I just thought I'd drop in and give my first conversation to some old friends on our new channel name. But I wanted to share with y'all our anniversary. Let's see, what else has been going on? Ron's got the 6 apple trees in. Him and the boys are working on the raspberry bushes right now. I've got 35 pounds of hamburger that I have to get. I won't can all 35 pounds, but I will can about 20 of it. I got to get that canned tomorrow. Some bone broth from the turkey stock that we had. Summer is really here. I don't anticipate any snow in our area until probably September, but you never know. We've been told on several occasions that it has snowed in July. So we haven't experienced it since we've been here, but a lot of the old timers and long termers here have said that it has. So that would be interesting, right? A lot of our seedlings are up. We've got more boxes done, more garden boxes done. However, we're not ready to plant yet. We'll be doing that hopefully over the next week. And we're mainly going this year for greens. If you remember last year, we did not have any time to garden. We got going on the garden. We had seeds all going, and Ron's mom got sick and then passed away. So then we went down south, and we were down there for 2 months and came back, and things were chaos up here. Oh, I put on my apron. A dear friend made me. So I think last year about this time is when I started, maybe a little earlier, the old-fashioned front porch conversations. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to pick those back up. You know, it's really funny when you don't do YouTube every day, but you try to be somewhat regular with it, how much time goes by in between doing something. You know, you think you got a series started, and then you get a time lapse, and you pick back up, but on something else, and then another time lapse, and you look back, and a year has passed us by. So Ron and I have been together since 1989, and we've had a lot of blessings. We've had a lot of normal ups and downs. Any marriage does. It's deciding that you're going to work through it and being committed to the commitment, and to the one who gave it to you. So that's how we've weathered the years. We've got 4 beautiful children to see the fruits of our labor. And sometimes to drive us nuts. But all in all, it's been a good life. It's been a real good life. This is like the first year, really, just working on the garden boxes and stuff. I feel like there's so many things that have happened over the past 4 years up here, and it's the first year that it feels like we're settling, not just living here, but settling in. There's some permanency going on. Obviously, our cabin is a permanent thing, but I don't know. I guess when you see the flower boxes or the garden boxes that are there, that'll be there next year, the apple plants or the apple trees that are going in that you know are going to grow and they're going to produce something. Same with the raspberry bushes. There's something that when you're putting those roots down, you are putting your own roots down, and you feel like what a lot of the insecurities or a lot of the concerns you have when you move onto raw land and you develop with nothing there start to become more real, you know, and that happens quicker for some people. It's taken us 4 years, and it's because, you know, we didn't take out a loan for the things that we have up here, and except we have obviously the land payment, which will be paid off in January or sooner. We're so grateful for that. That will be a huge load off our mind. But especially as we age, Ron is nearing, you know, let's see, he's what, 50? He'll be 59 this year. Is that right? Is that right? He was born in 61. I gotta do the math. I've had that. His mom and I had ourselves so confused. We had him a year older one year and had him believing it. Can you imagine? Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so he'll be 59 this year, and you know, in a couple of years, he technically could be collecting Social Security if that's, you know, what is the wise thing to do at that time. So we can't brag about having this great financial plan as youth. We made a lot of mistakes, and we are paying for them now. We understand the wisdom of being debt free, but we haven't been able to do that application, sadly. But that is one reason why we are so adamant against new debt and encourage people not to go into debt if avoidable, because we carry debt from years ago that could destroy or would destroy many people, and it has destroyed many marriages. You know, debt is such a burden. And I want to point out one thing here. You know, I know that we changed our devotion channels over to Family Heritage Living Devotion, but I wanted to point this out. That's not because we won't ever talk about God. That's because we want a platform that's freer to talk more convictionally and fervently about Him. And we kind of always felt ourselves holding back on this platform. So as we expound and go into our Oldsteader Homestead, we still are going to give God the glory and the praise. It just won't feel like we're preaching to you so much because we got another platform to preach to you on. If you're a viewer of ours that follow our devotion, please make sure you follow the link below. And come over and subscribe so you'll get notification, hit the bell, so you'll get notification when we upload. We are uploading every day, and we will continue to do so for as long as possible. We've got devotions and talks going on over there. But so at any rate, what I was getting ready to say is, debt, thankfully God had other plans for us, and we've been able to weather the storm. And there has been storm after storm with our finances. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there hasn't been. But it has convicted us, it has taught us, and we hope to share that wisdom with others to think about what you're doing before you do. There's a lot of channels out there, and a lot of homesteader channels, and you see these channels, and they've got all the new stuff, they've got all the new tools, and we're talking expensive tools. I'm not talking kitchen tools, I'm talking expensive tools. They got these beautiful homes. And in a way, when young people look at that and they're looking to homestead, they got the itch. And most people get the itch to homestead because they want something more simplistic, but they see all their examples of having these really great financial things and possessions. They assume that person just really made it big and was able to pay cash for them, or that they don't even think about it. And they just start getting themselves into a problem. And that's what we want to articulate to our viewers, especially since we're older and we can say we've been there. We've experienced that. And we are still digging ourselves out from it. We are still burdened by this. That don't make those same mistakes. We've done a video on the cabin not being finished. It's because we couldn't afford it. We've got the 4 walls up that keep us safe and dry, and we've turned it into a home, but we still can't afford it. And it doesn't make the joy that we find here any less. What it does do is it strengthens our resolve not to look at those things, to make sure that our environment, our home, is based on atmosphere and vision versus the need to have it now, which is what has gotten us in trouble, or just lack of financial, more for us, more of our choices that we made and very early in life, and then by the time we had a clear vision of what we wanted, it had us stuck. It was really hard to get us out, and bad decisions were made on that. So we just, our having the property up here paid off is huge. It's huge for us. But we drive a 1994 Suburban. We still aren't finished inside. The goats still have, lean-to sheds instead of big old barns. We're doing everything by hand instead of having equipment to do that. And those are choices that we make. Those are the things we talk about in our videos as Oldsteaders. You make these choices, and you either embrace them and learn from them, or you begrudge it and are miserable. So we're here to encourage wise choices, and even when it's not the ideal situation, is how you would think it would be best to be able to afford something. Maybe you just don't even need it. Maybe you just need to make do with what you have. That's what homesteading is about, in my opinion. Making the most out of what you got. Not going into debt, not feeling like you have to keep up with, the neighbors or the next YouTube channel, but making that life for yourself that is least burden. Being recession proof, and when you find yourself face to face and realize you're in that debt, just work not to get in it anymore. It's hard to get out of it, but do your best not to accumulate anymore, if at all possible. So, all right, well, I've got to get to supper. I've got a big menu to make today, and the stove is making me sweat. I don't know if you can see the beads of perspiration on me here. And until next time, I'll talk later.